My name's Craig Sengelow. I'm the Program Manager for WorkSafe's Canterbury Rebuild Health and Safety Program. Our key focus today is on the risk of impairment on construction sites through the use of alcohol and other drugs. This includes the instances that impact negatively on the workplace, even if it happens outside of work hours and away from work. Our focus is not on the general health effects of alcohol and other drugs, or on the law regarding illicit drug taking. While our focus today is not on legal compliance, it is worthwhile reflecting the new Health and Safety at Work Act, and its relevance with regards to the risk of impairment, particularly through today's focus of alcohol and other drugs. Under the Act, businesses must eliminate, or if that is not reasonably practicable, minimise health and safety risks as far as reasonably practicable. Now, I don't know about you, but I've never heard of the term practicable until I read the Act. So what does reasonably practicable mean? Well, it's spelled out in the Act, and this is what it means. It's what reasonably could be done given the likelihood of the risk occurring, the degree of harm that might result from the risk, and what the person concerned knows or ought reasonably to know about the risk and ways of eliminating or minimising the risk. The availability and suitability of ways to eliminate or minimise the risk, and after all that, and to be considered last, is the cost associated with eliminating or minimising the risk, including whether the cost is grossly disproportionate to the risk. So on the first point, on the likelihood of the risk, as you can see up top there, close to 80% of us drank alcohol in the last year. 36% of drinkers aged 18 to 24 had an established drinking pattern that carries a risk of harming their physical or mental health, or having harmful social effects on them or others. In 2012 to 2013, 15% of males 15 years and over reported using cannabis in the last 12 months. 8% of women. 38% of male cannabis users reported using cannabis at least weekly in the last 12 months, compared to 29% of females. And finally, about 1% of New Zealand adults, those aged between the ages of 16 and 64, reported using amphetamines in the past year. 2% of those aged between the ages of 16 and 24 reported using amphetamines in the last year. With regards to the degree of harm that might result, it is challenging to identify the degree of harm that might result from the risk of alcohol and other drug consumption on construction sites. You will have a better understanding of the risks posed by your workers' use of drugs, alcohol and other drugs than we do. However, from WorkSafe's Health and Safety Attitudes and Behaviours Survey in 2014, 18% of construction workers witnessed workers working hungover or stoned at their workplace, either from time to time or a lot. Only 5% of employers witnessed that behaviour. However, the good news is there are a lot of resources out there to help support people and organisations address the risks on site posed by alcohol and other drugs. In April, at our last WorkSafe event, we launched the Canterbury Rebuild Safety Charter's Alcohol and Drugs Fact Sheet. Copies are available today, and it is also available on the Charter website. The fact sheet outlines how to develop a policy to manage the impacts of alcohol and drugs in the workplace. It includes a checklist to help you develop your policy. The Charter website also has links to resources and examples to help develop and support your policy, assistance for those affected by alcohol and other drugs, information on how alcohol and other drugs affects workers' health, and finally links to organisations who assist with developing and implementing drug testing procedures and training. Finally, I'd like to make a plug for the next Charter event, which happens on the 29th of this month. We're very excited to bring over from Adelaide Professor Anne Roach, the Director of the National Centre for Education and Training on Addiction at Flinders University in Adelaide. WorkSafe and ACC are proud to be sponsoring that event. For details of the event, please see the Safety Charter website. It's just up on the board there. Anne will be talking through the Centre's research and long-term program of work and practical workplace experience in relation to AOD and its impacts on the workforce. In particular, they have just completed a long-term study in this area, and I highly recommend this event. So thank you, and I'd just like to, it's my pleasure to welcome our first speaker, which is Dr. Catherine Savage from HeHe Research and Development. And Catherine's going to talk on why AOD is an issue on construction. Thank you.